E3 2017 is right around the corner, and I'd be lying if we said we weren't pretty excited. We already made a video about all the rumors of things that we think aren't going to happen, but now let's talk about things you should expect at E3. Some of this is speculation, some of this is stuff that's already confirmed, and a little bit of it is behind the scenes knowledge. We got a list of 50 things to expect. This list is going to overwhelm you, so let's get started. The first thing you can expect is a new Need for Speed game from EA. It seems like they may have learned things from their last release, even though they said that it wasn't going to be a yearly release type game. They did confirm that we will see a new Need for Speed by the end of 2017. They also said that this one isn't going to make the mistake of being always online, and that's good. Something that we are speculating, but it's kind of up in the air, but maybe a Cyberpunk 2077 tease, but don't expect much else. Maybe just another quick glimpse at the game, but that's all we really expect. What you can also expect is some Days Gone gameplay. Expect the Sony press conference to really show off this game in full force. We do expect it to come out this year, so we want to see more. Also, Bloodborne 2. This has been the hottest rumor on the street lately. There's been lots of leaks, lots of fake leaks, all kinds of things going around. Maybe expect it, but if not, expect something new from Software, a completely new IP. And in typical EA E3 fashion, expect them to reveal and highlight Madden 18, and all of the non-sports fans will definitely fall asleep. Moving forward, that also will count for FIFA 18. Expect that to be detailed quite a bit. And on the Hideo Kojima side of things, I wouldn't expect to see too much of Death Stranding really announced or reveals, but Hideo Kojima seemingly is going to attend. So maybe we'll just get a new quick glimpse, I don't know. But speaking of Hideo Kojima, we're definitely going to see more from Konami and Metal Gear Survive. Ugh. I know we will definitely see more from Project Cars 2. It was announced. We didn't get a lot of information, but it's a hardcore racing sim that had a fan base, and I expect the second one to be even better. But on the Nintendo side of things, one thing we can expect, hopefully from Square Enix, is more of that Project OCTOPATH Traveler game on the Switch. I would expect that to become much more of a big deal at this E3, but you can also expect Nintendo to show off way more Super Mario Odyssey. I think that's a no-brainer. It's their big game coming this fall, and they're going to want to show off what the game really is. I would also expect a completely new big Nintendo game to be revealed. The Switch, needs more games on the horizon, and I'd like to think Nintendo is finally, hopefully, aware of that. Maybe the rumored Pokemon Stars game, but I'd really like to see Nintendo IP. Maybe we'll see that rumored Super Smash Bros. Port from the Wii U version? Who knows for sure? But this one is a little bit more speculation. Maybe we'll get a glimpse of the Breath of the Wild DLC, all that Zelda content that we are supposed to get if you did buy into a Zelda Season Pass, which I still haven't gotten used to saying those words. And along with that, this is really just hopeful, realistic wishing, but maybe finally we'll get a virtual console for Switch or some other digital equivalent. If this does happen, expect it to have a different name than Virtual Console. Deep Silver will absolutely be showing off more of their open world action superhero game Agents of Mayhem. And now let's move on to Bethesda. Expect them to definitely show off more Quake champions. Along with that, during their press conference, expect them to highlight and spend time on Fallout 4 and Doom VR versions. They could be pretty impressive and they could be crowd pleasers, but VR isn't as big as we still thought it would be. Also, we're betting that they will announce a new Wolfenstein shooter. This seems the most likely out of all those Bethesda rumors. The Evil Within 2 can also be a thing, but we just don't know for sure. Another thing we hope and kind of expect to see is a new tease for Todd Howard and his team's new game at Bethesda. We know it's not going to be Elder Scrolls or Fallout, so what is it going to be? Maybe now we'll finally get a glimpse. From the show floor with E3, maybe hands-on previews and stuff like that, expect a lot more Sonic and a lot more information about Sonic Mania and the upcoming Sonic Forces. Along with that, it's been pretty quiet for a while, but Michel Ancel, the creator of Assassin's Creed's new game Wild, is definitely due for some more information and more gameplay, so I would expect that. And also, after all the leaks, I think we are going to get a good look at Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle crossover game. Expect it to play like a strategy RPG XCOM style, but for kids. Then of course, we will definitely see 2K's next big game. They have a huge announcement from one of their biggest properties, and we're banking on it either being a new BioShock or Borderlands 3. There's also been some teases lately about a new Seaman game. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that franchise, but it's weird and crazy, and I would love to see it make a big splash at E3, no pun intended, sorry. But moving on to EA, expect them to highlight Battlefront 2 gameplay and finally actually give us some full uncut gameplay. Considering the game is releasing right around the corner in the fall, it's about time we see some real stuff. Maybe even some extended sequences of the single-player campaign. And speaking of EA, there is definitely a lot of potential that we can get a new look at a new EA BioWare project. Maybe it's the new Dragon Age, or maybe it's that new IP, that other project they're working on. I would say expect one or the other to be revealed. On one of the Activision sides of things, I would definitely expect a deeper dive into Destiny 2, highlighting more of the worlds, more of the way the raids work, and just generally trying to convince people to try Destiny once again. It's a safe bet, but Ubisoft previously just announced The Crew 2, so I expect to see a lot of gameplay for that, and it's also a safe bet and an obvious one, but we're gonna get a lot more of Shadow of War. We're gonna go hands-on with that, and we're looking forward to it as Lord of the Rings fans. But speaking of Warner Brothers, this one's a little bit up in the air, but maybe that new rumored Batman game will be true, whether it's the one from Warner Brothers Montreal or something Rocksteady is working on. Either way, we're expecting to see something superhero. Speaking of superheroes though, I expect it's time to see what Sucker Punch is working on, their new game. I mean, if you think about it, it's been a while. Also, we can absolutely say it's a safe bet to expect a new unannounced thing from Square Enix. I also think it's a safe bet that we're going to see a lot more of The Last of Us Part 2, maybe a full extended gameplay demo sequence, really to wow everyone at the PlayStation conference. I can definitely see that coming. You should also expect a new unannounced game from Devolver Digital. We have no idea what it is, but we know it's out there. Not only that, Darksiders 3 was previously announced, but we would like to see way more gameplay from it, and a little bit more of what the game has to offer besides just the one sequence of gameplay we have seen. But along with that, most likely at the Microsoft conference, you can expect Forza 7 to be finally revealed. But speaking of racing games, I expect we'll also get some more Gran Turismo sport news. But speaking of games that have been hyped for a while, maybe we'll see something from Kingdom Hearts 3. I would expect more gameplay, but still no final release date. And speaking of no final release date, the Final Fantasy VII Remake has had a lot of things going on with it lately in the news in terms of its development, so we have no idea what's going on with that. But getting down to the final 10 things we think we'll see, expect another look at Uncharted Lost Legacy. It is releasing this summer, but expect Sony to really highlight it and show its importance. Not only that, but I totally expect that PlayStation 4 Spider-Man game to get fully detailed with a bunch of awesome gameplay. I'm really hanging on to hope with this one. I think it looks great, and I really hope it realizes its full potential. But speaking of other previously announced Sony games that we'll get another look with, I would expect a larger look at Detroit Become Human, Heavy Rain creator Quantic Dreams' new game. And of course, the next one is an absolute no-brainer, Assassin's Creed Origins. We've heard about it, we've seen leaks, we've gotten a little bit of an official announcement. I would expect to see straight-up gameplay at one of the press conferences for it. And speaking of gameplay at Xbox's conference, I would love for them to show off some State of Decay 2 gameplay. Expect them to really push this thing and really use it to show the graphical prowess of the Xbox Scorpio. And in terms of Microsoft showing off the Xbox Scorpio and really talking up its graphical power, I would expect this to be the right time for the return of Crackdown 3. If this is the year where it does show up, expect to see a lot of gameplay and expect it to be a big deal and a flagship title for the Scorpio. But that does lead to my next point. Expect Microsoft to spend plenty of time officially naming and announcing the Scorpio. We'll get the full name, we'll get a full look at the actual console and what it does, and the price and release date, hopefully. But closing it out with the top 3, I am definitely looking forward to getting some gameplay from Far Cry 5. We've got a teaser trailer, we've gotten some box art, we've gotten a lot of hype and excitement and controversy. I'm excited to see how this game really plays. And I think E3 and Ubisoft's press conference is going to be the place to see it in action. And of course, at E3, we'll definitely get a look at some Call of Duty World War II gameplay. Expect this to be a big deal, and expect it to be heavily campaign focused, showing off the graphics, the cinematic moments, all this World War II stuff. Expect it to make a big bang. But lastly, we're looking forward to seeing more of that God of War game. It had an excellent showing last year, being one of the more exciting games announced, but now we want to really see the crux of this thing and see what the deal is with it. What's its direction? What's the gameplay really like? And a little bit of story setup. Clearly from this giant list, there's going to be a lot going on at E3 2017. We're gonna have a lot to talk about, and we're gonna have a lot of videos coming out because we're gonna be there learning about all these games, but we want to hear from you guys in the comments what you're looking forward to the absolute most so we can figure out what to actually tailor our videos for. Let us know what you really want to know about and hear from E3. We'll be down in the comments talking to you guys, but you know how this works. Clicking the like button helps us out a ton, and we really do appreciate it. But if you're new, subscribing is a good idea because we're going to put out a bunch of E3 stuff, and we put out stuff every day anyway. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.